welcome to ADRA Asia's podcast, While on Earth.
Happy, efficient and productive.
I'm very passionate about young people.
Currently leading the disaster risk management unit department.
Overnight is a long process.
Hello everyone, I'm Prabhuk and I work for ADRA Asia. Welcome to the podcast run by ADRA Asia, and we like to call it While on Earth. Today in the studio we have Mr. Frank Reimann. So Frank,
Hello.
who are you?
Yeah, my name is Frank Reimann. I'm originally from Germany and I'm the regional director for ADRA Asia.
How did you end up in this position? What's your story?
Well, most recently to this position, I've been the country director in Hong Kong. I've originally started with ADRA 1998. I was a country director in Cameroon and Cambodia. I then left ADRA for a while. I worked for CARE in Laos and for World Vision in Cambodia, and as well for the extractive industry. And now I've been back with ADRA since 2018, initially in an emergency function, and then in ADRA in Hong Kong. And now I have been in this role for about a little more than 1 year.
Right, so for the sake of our viewers, you said extraction or extractive industry. What is that? Is it like in dentistry?
Yes, exactly. It's a subgroup of dental specialists. So extractive industry is basically referred to as mining.
Right.
It is extractive as well, covers oil and gas. But I worked in a mining company in Laos and then later for Rio Tinto in a global role. And the function I had there was community engagement or social sustainability. So very much what NGOs do as well, to engage with the communities that are impacted by the mining activities.
Right. So Frank, tell us, what are you passionate about?
I'm really passionate about organizational effectiveness. I'm passionate about to look at organizations and to use the resources available, the people we have, and to align it in a way that we are operating effectively, efficiently, lean, and achieve great results.
So, just out of curiosity, do you approach the organization from the point that it is not currently effective, or it is effective in some areas and we need to improve? What is the approach in general?
Well, I think an organization that exists, and if you're still there, somehow must be effective, otherwise it wouldn't exist and it would distinguish. But I think whenever you come as a leader in a new organization, you obviously come with a new perspective, and there's almost always things that you can improve or you can make more efficient. So I wouldn't approach it from that there's something broken, but it's in the sense of to look at it and to see, is there value that I can add? Are there things that maybe even some of the staff members share with me or observe? And then to look at, is that really the best way an organization can be run?
Do you want to walk us through a typical process of how you look at things? Maybe the components of organizational effectiveness, maybe operational, financial, governance. How does that actually look like in ADRA?
Well, in ADRA, I think it's slightly different from office to office, but in principle, I think any organization has always the same elements that we look at. One has to do with people, their skill set, their everything that makes them happy, efficient, and productive. Then there's systems and processes that facilitate the work. I think it's as well very important to be clear about why do we exist, what is it, what we actually want to achieve, what we contribute to. And then there's the governance side and everything related to policies and processes, which are internal, and of course as well for our country office external. What is the external context in a given country, legislation, government, and so forth. That are usually, I think, the elements that are.
The elements. So in terms of ADRA Asia, what have you been doing so far in this regard?
Well, for ADRA Asia itself, it has coincided with my arrival that we have a very significant change to our business model. We have been heavily subsidized by the Adventist Church for the last 40 years in the form of country directors being appointed through a church-appointed system where the majority of the cost for a country director has been covered by actually the church side. And ADRA as an organization did not have to pick that up. Now that will change over the next couple of years, and that's a significant change to how we operate. And as such, what we have done is to actually understand it first, the timing for it. Then we have done some analysis what that means financially, and then as well what it means for us as a business model. We will have to become more diligent in actually making decisions where and how an ADRA office is feasible and can function.
Right. So obviously, a discussion like this is linked to a timeline. So all our viewers will understand that this is now being shot in 2024, in the month of April. What is the plan? Do you have a 5-year plan, 10-year plan? When do you think we'll be ready to actually face the challenges? Are we ready right now? What are we doing to be maybe diversify our business model?
Right. Well, I think we have started already. ADRA Asia itself, we as an organization have significantly changed. We have moved to a hybrid model, which means that we don't have a physical office anymore. We are as well having a heavy focus on nationalization and regionalization of leadership positions. And so as a result, the programs director and the finance director at the regional office are from Asia and are based in their home country. You are one of them, being based in Sri Lanka. So it's a new model for us. So we've started with that. Similar country director positions we will have review in the same light. A timeline is probably the time of my appointment. So I have an appointment for 5 years. And after that, it will be reviewed and decided what's next. So I would view this that in the course of the next 5 years, we want to make significant change to that. At the front end now, where we are still trying to understand, we have, I think, some ideas where it can go. We are now in a process of consulting with country offices, with leadership, with church leadership, to help them understand what actually the challenge is, what it means, and then to get their input on what we view or consider as things that could be changed or addressed to make it more feasible to run country offices.
Right. So far in the discussion, what has been like maybe the top 3 challenges, just off the head?
Top 3 times. I think the one thing that we have observed that the majority of our implementing country offices are actually running usually at a deficit. So the business model as it is right now is not allowing us to run feasible country offices. So there's a one big challenge is we are living in a working environment that is underfunded, and as such that brings a certain mindset in decision making. The other challenge I think is that we have, I don't think, a shared understanding how the agency connects and relates to the Adventist Church. We are the development agency of the Adventist Church, but in sense of what that really means, how it contributes to the church, I think we have a great spectrum and variety of what that means. So that's, I think, another thing that came up. And as a third, I think it's just to have a pool of resources and leadership from the region available to really step up in leadership positions. I think we have talked about this for a long time. We've done a lot of capacity building, but now that there will be deadlines in place and where we have already some positions where we had to make a change, it was quite surprising to me to see that the pool of people that are actually available and willing to take a leadership position is probably smaller than I would have expected.
How has been the discussion with the country officers so far? Positive, negative? Is it progressing well?
I think overall it has been well received. I think it was, I think, not a difficult thing to sell, to say that we have to become more efficient. I think that was even an understanding before. I think there's an element of that, obviously, country directors who are currently on ISE budgets. There's an aspect of that this is very, has a personal impact because it relates directly to job security. And that obviously is something we have to digest if a message like this gets carried on. So I think to a certain degree we have to digest that a little bit. But overall, I feel like it is very well received. It's very much, people are willing to contribute to it. They're welcoming it. I think our board, ADRA Asia, has a board. Our board is very supportive of what we have initiated, the ideas that we bring. I feel like we are in a really good space and we have a really good core team of people who have a great passion to make this work.
So, going back to your passion in terms of organizational effectiveness, within the hybrid setting, what does that look like? What elements in the hybrid model what elements should fall in place to make it effective?
Well, I think in a normal, let's start by, if you would have a normal office
Right.
setup where we would see each other physically,
Right.
Even in our role at ADRA Asia, where there's a lot of travel, we would probably regularly be in the office where we see each other. So there's one big element of that just does something socially. So you relate as well together after work, you have lunch together. Now that in a hybrid office where we are in different countries, that falls away. That will only happen if we happen to be on the same trip, or we happen to meet at an event, or we initially or intentionally organize something where we are meeting and making up for social time. So I find that is a challenge in the sense of that if you have arranged and organized social time, that's very different than the normal day-to-day that happens in an office. I find that is a big challenge. There's an element of, I think as well, part of that is the informal information exchange, to kind of just to pick up, I just spoke to this person, this happened, or somebody comes to visit and you pick that up. Now all of that is, there's a risk that we are too much in isolation, so we have to be very proactive to communicate, which I think we are managing quite well. We're using obviously electronic media, WhatsApp, Messenger, Telegram, email more significantly than before. That as well does something, it's a change. For me, for example, I would have in the past, I would not have used those mediums for work. That was a private side. So now it's work as well. So to kind of that is a change. We as well have to then see when it comes to decision making, to formal meetings, we are not in a room, so we cannot easily just pick out a piece of paper or use a whiteboard or things like this. So that's something as well that is something to be learned. We have weekly meetings which we conduct over Teams or Zoom, where we see each other and we run that similar as if we would be in the room. And I think that so far works. And there's some basic rules to go, like things like that you have your camera off, on, that you are not unmuted, that you just act as if you are really in the room.
Right.
And then if you need to use the bathroom or something happens, you just announce that.
Right. Do you think this hybrid model might work for country offices? Just out of curiosity.
I think in principle, I would never rule out anything. I think it's probably a very different context in a country office to run a hybrid office. I think what comes to mind is, would actually every staff member be comfortable, and would it be possible for them to actually work from home? Because not everybody has a spare room or can be quietly working. As well, would everybody actually have the internet and the computers and all that to happen? So in principle, I wouldn't rule it out, but I think because of the dynamic in a country office, where a lot as well has to do with interacting with the communities and going to the field, being present, I think it will be a bigger stretch for a country office to do that. I think we have experience during COVID. Many offices had to actually fall back to working from home arrangement, but that changed everything. That as well changed how we worked. So I would, as I said, I wouldn't rule it out. I would really leave it to a country office if that's what they would like to do, and discuss with their board and with us as ADRA Asia. For us, the main focus why we have done this is for cost efficiency, because it is a significant change to our budget, which is tight, and that's the main driver. Right. And so at a country office, if that is as well a main drive, let's see, I could probably not foresee at this stage that a country office could stop and completely give up a physical office space. And for me, for our understanding of hybrid office, that's the key to our setup, that we do not have one physical office.
Right. I mean, probably an idea could be that we could review this together in this show actually on an annual basis as we go along, right? So it could be actually a case study.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you want to share with our audience in terms of organizational effectiveness? Maybe I have left out something through my questioning.
I think the one thing that for me I think is important when it comes to organizational or to reorganizing or reviewing things is that we have to be open-minded about the process, and that we are approaching this from a point of view that this is not done because something is wrong. This is not done because we are trying to point out that anybody has done things not efficiently. it is in the spirit of we want to become better. We have introduced at ADRA Asia, we are using a leadership framework, conscious leadership. You're familiar with that. And the key part of the conscious leadership is that a conscious leader is actually conscious about if you are above the line or below the line.
Okay.
And the short definition of that is that if you are below the line, you are actually protecting your thinking, you're protecting the things as they are, you are protecting your own space, a very natural actually human condition. That's how we have to be to survive. Being above the line is to be open-minded, is to be to not dismiss other opinions, at the same time to as well share openly what I think, but to always approach things from the point of view, I could learn something.
Right.
This could be done differently than I have done this. And I think that is something that we all need, me included. I'm not, by no means do I have this all organized and know how to do it. There's as well, obviously, an element that once we have some ideas how things could go, that creates momentum, and we have to be careful that critical opinions or things that might view things differently, that they are not blocked out, that we listen to that. The other thing that I find is important is that timing is quite a critical element. As a development agency by nature, I think we are people who are quite comfortable with processes that go slowly. We know that behavior change in people takes time. It has to do with, often to do with belief systems, with values. Now, organizational effectiveness is not a development project. And so there's an element of I think timing that might, in some cases, and for some of us, uncomfortable to do things faster. And I'm conscious about that because having worked in the corporate world, where in that leadership things are extremely fast and rapid, I think that we as a development agency and even at the regional office, that I think we can get comfortable with that we can actually move faster, which does not mean that we don't listen to all opinions and ideas.
Right. So the third question is, if you had a superpower, what would it be and what would you do with it?
Only one.
Only one for now.
Only one. Only one for
maybe in the next episode we can capture the other.
Okay. I think the superpower I would like to have is I would like to be able to fly.
Okay.
A little like a bird, you know, and
or an angel.
Yeah. Are they flying? Supposedly, yes. But I think yes, to be able to actually not only to walk or run, but to be able to fly.
Okay.
I think that would be.
So what would you do with it?
I think I could travel faster from A to B.
Right.
I think it would be something to. Just imagine to go on I go on a fly, not on a walk. It would be quite a different experience.
Yes.
We are right here in Colombo right now, right? What a great idea if I could be able to, instead of going and walk around the lake, I could go and have a look and fly.
Fly, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I never thought of it like that actually. Now, since you are the regional director, you get an additional question.
Oh.
Do you want to pass on any message to our country offices?
To our country offices? No, actually don't. I have to think about that. The message to all the country offices. Okay. Yeah, I think the message I have for our country offices is that we are an agency of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. And as such, I think we have a very clear mandate that we are doing these things as well in the name of the church, and that we are doing these things out of a deep conviction of what we believe things to be or things to come. And with that, I as well have a deep conviction that all of us who are working in the positions where we are right now, so wherever you are as a country director, as a position, that this is just not all human-made. We are not working together by coincidence. I have a very deep conviction that there's a spiritual dimension to the way we as an organization operate, how we work, and how we as well right now, at this time, the combination of people that we have, the resources that we have, that is God is in control of all of that. And for us, I think it's the way to find out what it looks like and what our role is in that. And as such, I would just encourage all of you to continue to do what we do, and to engage with us on this journey of looking at how we become even more efficient and effective.
Frank, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you. What was your name?
Thank you to all our viewers for tuning in. I'll see you on our next episode While on Earth. If you have any questions and if you have any topic that you want to see us discuss, write to us, let us know. Thank you very much.